With Thanksgiving coming up, it is now time to brush off the turkey because we're having a feast. Hey everyone, this is Mikoy. Welcome back to the TLT 8 podcast. I am joined by my guest,
Garrett 2004, and I'm not co-host anymore now. I'm a guest.
You've been relegated to guest. Actually, you're just a guest at the dinner table because it is almost Thanksgiving. So, happy Thanksgiving, Americans.
Yeah, thanks, but why am I the guest? You don't celebrate Thanksgiving, right?
I know. I should be the guest. You should be the host. Well, the dinner table isn't prepared yet, but we are gonna prepare it anyway. So last time we covered the round 4 recap and round 5 predictions, and now we're gonna do round 5 recap because there's only like 4 games, which actually we made the joke about this last week, but 3 of the 4 games were recorded before even last video went up.
I think you mean played.
Recorded, played, it still means the same damn thing. So, let's check out these games, shall we?
Yep, let's check them out.
First off, in the round 5 matchups losers bracket, we got Baddie knocking out, taking notes kinda, out of the tournament.
Into
it was quite the game. First up was OU, where they both brought pretty bulky teams with some high offense, high particular standards, but there is some bulk here to be had. The first couple of turns were just a bunch of switching and hazard setting and pivot attacking, and it didn't really start to progress much until around, let's see, right here, turn 16 or 15 or so, where Dragapult versus Garganacl. Dragapult was trying to kill it with Dragon Dance and Dragon Darts, counteracted by taking notes, kinda doing a Terra Fairy on the last possible turn that it could possibly Terra Fairy. Going in on turn 19 after getting critted by one Dragon Darts, Terra Fairied.
I don't think that crit really mattered, though, apart from leaving it a bit lower than it would have been otherwise, because even if that didn't crit, I think it was still within range to die.
Even without the crit. Okay, fair enough.
Yes, because, well, how much did it do normally? It did about 17 for one hit.
Well, that was just one.
So that's about 34 per 2 hits, right?
It was 34%, yeah, doubling that. Well, you can take the crit math to do the doubling up, and that's 34, yeah.
And let's see. Now, 56 minus 34, yeah, it was still gonna die next turn.
Yeah, of course. It would die next turn, so luckily he Terra Fairy to counteract that. Then, yeah, recovered at a good time to get some more health back. Try to be more of a useful asset later in the game. King Gambit then killed the Great Tusk, barely living on 1% after being chipped by its Rocky Helmet. Then Glamora used Mortal Spin to remove rocks on Baddie's side, and poisoned Dragapult, losing to a U-turn. Then Kyurem missed a scale shot, allowing Slowking to use Chilly Reception, which boosts Kyurem's defense in hail.
Yeah.
That was a kind of a interesting. I get trying to pivot out because Regenerator, but like, you're boosting up Kyurem as well because it's in the field.
Yeah, but I don't think taking notes kinda had much to be concerned about. He probably just figures Garganical takes whatever it's about to throw at it.
It is, because Garganacle's that tanky, and it's also because physical. It's also a physical Kyurem, so, yeah. That would make a whole lot of sense to switch into Garganacle that turn. But so then it died to...
And, like, once it gets the Salt Cure off, well,
it dies.
It's not like it's gonna do much.
And dies to the Salt Cure. And then the final turns, we saw the Pecharunt outstall the Ogerpon, letting it die to the poison. Slowking also got confused to kill itself via poison, via Malignant Chain, even though it got friggin' hexed in the process, took a lot of damage then. Then Great Tusk.
Yeah, actually, that confusion was a little unfortunate for taking notes, kinda, because odds are, if he didn't hit himself in confusion that turn, he might have been able to Future Sight, which, looking at what Batty had left, that would have been pretty good.
That would have been a great play, yes. And
I mean, to get it off, to get that Future Sight off. I mean, that odds are he was probably gonna Future Sight that.
That's true.
Or pivot out.
Or pivot out with
Either
reception, yeah. So yeah, and then Great Tusk was then put in by the end, and the fact that it had booster energy, boosting its speed, beat the Dragapult, outspeeding it, and then losing to the Garganical, yes, but Pecharunt was able to clean the end game because Malignant Chain did so much damage. Also, it got to Terra Ghost to avoid getting Earthquake.
Because Pecharunt has insane defense.
That's why Pecharunt's like one of the more used mons in OU because of its insane defense. It was able to tank those hits well and allow Batty to win very nicely. Next up is UU. A short but weird game. It was kind of a weird game.
Yeah, I don't get this game at all.
Oh, weird game. First off, we got the Frostlash, who managed to burn the Scizor, who beat it with Bullet Punch before losing to that Destiny Bond. And Revavroom got to crit Oko Tinkaton with high horsepower through Reflect.
Yeah, that's a little unfortunate.
Before poisoning the Manaphy with Gunk Shot before it Oko'd back with Surf.
Again, kind of unfortunate.
Manaphy then came back in swinging, beating the Zarude with an Oko Ice Beam, dying.
Yeah, so that leaves me to wonder, why did Taking Notes kinda not just
Power Whip?
You know, Power Whip, yeah.
Power Whip, or is it some grass
Was
move?
he expecting it to Terra?
I guess. But what would be a good
But, like, knockoff doesn't kill. And you just lose your Zarude.
Yeah, you're doing knockoff on a Reflect? Was the Reflect still up? Well, you could have just taken the Notion and just do Power Whip instead.
Or maybe he knew it was running Salak Berry and thought that just in case it does Terra, and just in case it Terras and Power Whip doesn't kill, activating the Salak Berry. But no, then again, it's not as though Light Screen is up, and TNK has a Comfey in the back.
Oh, it's not, and yes, Comfey came back in. Just letting it die to poison. I think Tigano kind of was just like, I'll let it die to poison instead.
Oh yeah, that's another thing I don't get. He sends in the Comfey, right?
Yeah.
Why does he then switch it out when he can just, finish off the Manaphy?
Yeah, Draining Kiss or Giga Drain. Why didn't he take advantage of Triage?
Yeah, why did he just let his Quaquaval get on 1/3 health like that?
Really weird.
Completely for free.
Really weird play there. And from weird play into a weird build, then we come to what was my most confusing part of this matchup was the Slitherwing trying to set up but with Poltergeist and then a Shell Smash and then Slitherwing Terrifier then outspeeding the Poltergeist at +2. Now is that
how did a +1 Slitherwing outspeed a Poltergeist at +2?
Was it a very fast Slitherwing with boosted speed investment, or is that just a really slow Poltergeist?
Well, the fastest a Slitherwing can be is 287 speed.
Yeah.
It wasn't booster speed either. Look, it's
booster attack. Yeah, it's booster attack. And it's just at +1 speed. And then even at +2 Poltergeist, that can't outspeed the thing.
Yeah, there's not a huge speed difference between Poltergeist and Slitherwing, so I don't understand what set does Poltergeist normally run? 248 HP, 184 defense, 76 speed.
Oh, that's really slow, actually. Huh. You would think a Shell Smash Sweeper would get much more benefit with boosting your speed, but nah. I guess not. Also, I'd lost.
As for the Slitherwing set, well, I don't think it's standard, so it's not available for me to look at. Oh, wait.
Nope, it's not. So yeah, the Poltergeist died to a crit even leech life, losing to that crit leech life on turn 14. And then Slitherwing just kind of clean through the end game, just beating out the freaking Comfey, and then just beating out the Quackwaval, which taking those kind of should have well, he did preserve it for the end, but he really shouldn't have taken. He really shouldn't have had Quackwaval taking so much hit from that Manaphy earlier. Come on.
Yeah, I don't get it. Like, it's like the triage is right there, unless he made a mistake and saw his Comfey didn't have it or something. That would be very funny.
That would be very hilarious. Yes.
Also, yeah. So the Poltergeist at +2, I guess it was only around 390 speed?
Maybe.
And the Slitherwing at +1, if max speed, is 430.
Okay.
Adamant Slitherwing, it's still 391.
So it
versus 390.
So it just barely outspeeds the Poltergeist. Goddamn.
And odds are. Wait, no, not odds are, because it just has naturally really high attack. So, but yeah. Regardless of whether that thing was Jolly or Adamant, if this set that the calc is giving me for Poltergeist is the standard Shell Smash set, especially on that team, then yeah, the Slitherwing naturally outspeeds that.
That's funny. That's really funny. Oh yeah, that knocks him out of TLT contention. He had a good run. He did make it to round 5, so it is a pretty good run, I'd say. But Batty moves on and continues.
Yeah, round 5 is top 12.
Top 12, which is pretty good. Still pretty good. Next up, we have Terracotta versus Bokoa in 3. First up was Ryu, which you had a lot of questions on. Like,
all I can say is burns everywhere.
There were a lot of burns. For example, the Suicune burned the Crawdaunt very early on. It was like turn 1. Yeah, turn 1 already it was burned by Scald, killing it afterwards. And Mimikyu counteracted that by swords dancing and beating Weezing Galar before losing to Hippowdon's Rocky Helmet and Life Orb Recoil. Then, after some time, Necrozma then tried using Trick Room, but Umbreon managed to tank its Meteor Beam and beat it with Foul Play. And even outstalling Salamance's Dragon Dance attempts and Wish Stalled to beat it with Foul Play, which is pretty nice. And then,
well, yeah, I wouldn't really say Wish stalled it as much as it just used Foul Play and killed it.
it managed to get the kill on Foul Play, but it was Wish stalling a little bit. And the end game, we saw Terra nearly choking. He nearly choked to the extreme speed normal Terra normal Entei before Cyclizar managed to hit the Draco Meteor. It would be really funny if he missed. But he managed to hit the Draco Meteor, win him the game, but it could have gone really badly.
There were multiple other outs for Terra, I think.
Okay.
Although, if that was Jolly Entei, I don't think E-Speed killed, like ever. I think it was guaranteed to live unless crit. Although, leaving yourself vulnerable to that was also avoidable, actually.
It was.
Because I don't think Terra realized it, but how play Pokemon was running very low on E-Speed BP.
It was 3.
PP.
The 3 by the time the end game hit.
Yeah, because 2 of those were wasted on Suicune. Which has pressure.
Yeah. You're losing
so that's
half
actually
PP.
The equivalent of 4 PP.
Half of your PP was already taken out by the friggin' Suicune, so Suicune did its job. And,
Okay, so another way to, avoid what happened... here's another way this could have played out.
Okay.
So how Play Pokemon goes into Entei, uses extreme speed again. It only had 3, now it only has 2.
Yeah.
So in theory, Terra could have actually switched out Umbreon after that instead of letting it die. Go into Cyclizar.
Mm-hmm.
So then it either goes 2 ways. If the Cyclizar... if the Entei is adamant, which I'm pretty sure it wasn't, if the Entei is adamant, then it more likely kills the Cyclizar.
In one hit.
So Cyclizar dies, Terra can go back into Umbreon, protect to outstall the last PP of E-Speed.
Yeah.
And then the Entei just struggles and dies.
That would have been an amazing out. That would be a serious, putting yourself in a better position, because you would have Entei just struggle against the Umbreon, and Umbreon being very bulky as it is, could easily tank the struggle hits.
Thing is, I even did the calc for struggle.
Which
with
turns
the
out...
amount of health Umbreon had left, struggle didn't kill. Even with a crit, it would have to be adamant Entei to even have a shot at killing struggle.
So basically what you're saying is how Pokemon should have had an adamant Entei.
Yes, he would have needed to crit with an adamant Entei with struggle to kill that Umbreon.
Hilarious. Incredibly low chances there.
Yeah, or another way this could have played out.
Okay.
Very similarly, in fact, is that In fact, I think this way is probably even better. So, once again, we have Umbreon protecting, so Entei's down to only 2. Once again, Terra can switch in the Cyclizar, but it lives. Because let's say this is probably Jolly Entei. So it lives. Not by much, but lives.
Yeah,
so now
it's
there's
the
only
same-
one E-Speed PP left.
It's the
and
same,
half my Pokemon has to use it.
Yeah, it
because
basically has the
it's locked.
It's
locked into it.
So basically, it would have to do the same thing that Terra ultimately did, which is have Cyclizar come in, it tanks a hit, then Terra, and then Hellplay Pokemon wastes another E-Speed PP on Cyclizar, leaving Umbreon to just struggle.
Yeah, so Umbreon comes in, the Entei can't do shit to it now.
Yeah, and then Umbreon would have just tanked the hits normally.
Now the Umbreon can protect again and gain more health back,
That's true.
and now Struggle has even less chances of killing it, even with crit.
It won't do jack. Basically, Hellplay Pokemon effed himself. He screwed himself out of a potential near choking win opportunity, but ultimately at that point, his Entei could have done his Entei. If it was adamant, then he would have in a much better position. But ultimately, it just came down to whatever Terra did.
Nah, if it was adamant, if Terra did what I just said, then well,
yeah, he still lost.
It's still a loss for Outplay Pokemon.
He still lost.
Although, given how Terra actually played it, if that Entei was adamant, then he might have been in trouble.
Yeah, which would have been really unfortunate. But you won.
I'll tell you the calc.
For struggle?
No, for adamant E-Speed into Cyclizar.
Oh.
There was a 50% chance to kill for the Assault Vest set.
Uh-huh.
From Terra Normal E-Speed. A 50% chance.
Uh-huh.
Specifically with Adamant, of course.
Uh-huh.
I guess if it's the normal heavy duty boot set, then the lives guaranteed.
Okay. Okay.
Although I'm more inclined to think based on the... Let's see, how much did it do? That actually falls into... Yeah, okay, it falls into that. It also falls into... Wait. Okay, yeah, that's probably Assault Vest Cyclizar.
Okay. And then, yeah, assuming this is Jolly Entei, yeah. That makes sense. So Terra was still one.
Because for heavy duty boots Cyclizar, the damage doesn't add up.
True. Next up, we have OU, where Darkrai first beat the Tinkaton with a Will-O-Wisp and Nasty Plotting. I said that in reverse order, but beating it with Dark Pulse before being paralyzed. And then Primarina then used Calm Mind, but got poisoned by Slowking in the process. But not before using Custap Berry to deal damage to it with Surf. Terra's Darkrai then beat Zapdos with Ice Beam. And his Rotom actually managed to burn the Okidogi with Will-O-Wisp before Goldengo killed it with Hex. And despite burning it, King Gambit managed to kill the Rotom with a +6 Swords Dance boosted Kowtow Cleave, which was very nice. And then the final few turns saw Bacoa left with Great Tusk, who for lack of a better term, reverse sweeped, beating Goldango and Slowking before Terra Firing to resist Darkrai's Ice Beam.
Oh yeah, this is the game where Terra's status moves kept missing the first time, but he kept hitting them the second time, which actually costs him a bit of momentum, which
really?
I think contributed to his loss of this game.
Really? Because I really thought the ice beam play was. I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense. Why would you dark pulse it when it's a fighting type? But yeah.
Well, no, that.
Oh, that was me.
That's not what I was.
No, that was my take. What about your take?
That wasn't what I was referring to.
You were referring to which turn?
I was referring to when when Thunderbolt missed How Play Pokemon's Darkrai the first time, and then when the Will-O-Wisp missed Okie Dokie the first time.
Well, those were the first couple of times. Those are pretty insequential to me in the long run, but towards the
they're minor, but still cost Terra momentum.
I guess. I mean, How Play Pokemon would still have the advantage.
It forced him to need to do it again, is what I'm saying, rather than just going on the offensive right immediately after. It forced him to need to do it again.
I mean, he still managed to got some points. I mean, he poisoned the freaking Primarina.
Yeah, that's true.
He managed to poison it. He also managed to the one burn on the Zapdos, and then later burning the Okidogi and the King Gambit. But yeah, you were saying things about the Darkrai towards the end.
Yes, Terra, I think, threw his endgame a little. I understand you're not gonna Dark Pulse
against the fighting type.
A Great Tusk.
Yes. Why again? Like I was saying earlier, why would you Dark Pulse a fighting type? If I get the fact that it's what minus 2 defense, 2 special defense at this time, but like, is it worth the risk?
See, here's what I think. Instead of going into Slowking after Golden Go died, I think Terra should have gone into Darkrai.
Like right.
But then switch out the Darkrai and send in Slowking.
What would Outplay Pokemon would have done then?
Lose.
Lose at this point? Okay, so he switches in Darkrai at turn 39.
Because if he sends in the Darkrai, he goes into the Slowking. You see, when the Darkrai comes out in this scenario, it's gonna be -1 special defense, -1 defense.
Yeah.
Odds are he's probably thinking Terra's gonna Ice Beam me, so I will Terra Fire. But if Terra does do that and successfully baits that Terra, switches Slowking back in, and now it's even lower on its defenses, and now the Darkrai can come in and use Dark Pulse, which is now neutral and probably gonna kill.
That would have been a crazy out, but a necessary out. Unfortunately...
What do you mean unnecessary? That's literally how Terra would win.
No, I said necessary. I didn't say unnecessary.
You did say unnecessary.
I said necessary. It just sounded like it, okay? So, yeah, anyway, yeah. Terra would have had a much easier time playing the endgame if he knew to, save his Darkrai, preserve it for the later.
He would have won.
He would have won if he preserved it.
We're talking about the final 2 turns here. There's no easier way. This is just the final 2 turns.
If Terra did what he's supposed to do with his Darkrai and managed to bait the Terra on the Great Tusk, then yes, he won. He 100% won.
Yes.
And unfortunately, I think he was just letting that defense go. I think he was just trying to let naturally let the Great Tusk use Headlong Rush and try to lower its defenses, but again, that doesn't work. Well, especially what he had in the bag when he revealed his Terra. I don't know.
In theory, it could have been bad if How Play Pokemon for whatever reason decide to use Rapid Spin.
That would have been weird. That would have been a questionable play. I get trying to outspeed the Darkrai, but like, what? Anyway, that was weird. Still the win for How Play Pokemon then. Then we've come to Ubers, where, first off, we had Giratina first beating the Necrozma Duskmane with Poltegeist, and then Terra's own Poltergeist, and Terra's own Necrozma, Terra fired to block Skeledirge's Will-O-Wisp attempt and Dragon Dance, beating Zacian before being phased out by the Terra Steel Giratina. Skeledirge then beat Gliscor, but got taunted by Pelifin. And then the Dolphin let the Dolphin sweep because, my god, it just bulked up, beat Koraidon with Drain Punch, taunting the Calyrex and dodging that high horsepower, jet punching to beat Skeledirge, and then just beat Calyrex on its own to win.
I find it funny that How Play Pokemon decided to set up Trick Room when it was just in Jet Punch range.
It was in Jet Punch range. It was going to die anyway, so I figured, let's just be faster. Despite Jet Punch as a priority. I have to wonder
if the high horsepower miss actually mattered a lot.
Did it?
Because that made things a lot harder for How Play Pokemon, I think. Because well, let's see. Let's go to that high horsepower miss.
Turn 23.
And let's see how much it did. It did 18 after a second bulk up.
So, meaning
how much would it have done without that second bulk up?
36?
About 1.5 times more, right?
About that, yeah.
So that's give or take
30.
That's 27, I think.
So, would have been low. 11%.
Would have been quite low, yeah.
11% Palafin, who would have just resorted to just using Drain Punch. All right. Well.
Yeah, let's see. Like here, it's on 32. After a high horsepower, it would have been, very low.
Yeah, it would have been at the single digits by this point. So, yeah.
Actually, let me count this just to make sure my math is right. If that high horsepower... Oh, yeah, okay. So high horsepower did 23 to 27. 27 is a max roll, alright. But let's see. If it did 23...
11%.
If it did 23 from this current 32...
9.
It would have been down to 9. Would have healed a bit from leftovers. Would have been at... how much?
Friggin' 12, 13%?
15?
Yeah, okay.
15, me quite.
Underestimated a bit. Right. Yeah, I underestimated a bit.
And let's see, Drain Punch from +1, it recovers 10 to 12%.
And then, it still would have been in range for high horsepower.
Oh yeah, it might have still been in range for high horsepower.
Damn.
In fact, actually, maybe it just would have outright died if high horsepower hit the first time, got a good roll. If the second time also gets a Gets an
Average
average roll
roll, an
or
average
low roll
roll.
even, like, yeah, that high horsepower actually mattered quite a bit. Yikes.
Yeah, it did, because he would have left with, we would have, taunt would have been over by that point, so he would freely set up the trick room, and then boom, just sweep through friggin' Necrozma, sweep through friggin' Arceus, because both are
Oh
really low.
yeah. If that Palafin died, that Calyrex might have been able to sweep.
Yeah, that costly. That was really costly.
Although, but let's see. Taunt lasts like 3 turns, right?
About that.
So Palafin taunts it here.
Palafin taunts at what,
By the
23?
end of this turn, that's
3
one
turns
turn.
later.
By the end of next turn, that's another turn.
Mm-hmm.
And then it would be by the 3rd turn that Palafin would just die to another high horsepower, I think. So the taunt might wear off by the time it's dead, and oh god.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could be looking at a different game potentially.
We're speculating, but yeah, this would have turned out a really different game if that high horsepower did not miss. So
Yeah, holy crap.
sorry. So unfortunate for how play Pokemon, that thing mattered. Kinda. Mostly. What an unfortunate way to end the run. What an unfortunate way to end the run. So that brings us...
I still think Terra played this game better overall, though.
Oh yeah, definitely. It was pretty adamantly shown that Terra still played this better. Alright, next up we have Valor versus Excelsior. First up was not OR, but LC. We have some interesting moments that had happened with this one. First of all, the Glimmet trying to lower Axel's Mon's speed pretty early on and setting up rocks. However, Toad School killed it with Earth Power and Rapid Spin against Mean-Food and Terrafaried, killing it with Dazzling Gleam, only to lose to Terra Dark.
Once that Toad School got up to +1 speed and Terrafaried, if you look at Esvalor's side of the field, you'll see,
It's
oh
pretty
dear.
weak. It is pretty weak because Marini dies to Earth Powers and Trapinch dies to Giga Drain.
Everything here is either weak to Giga Drain, like Trapinch here.
Yes. Earth Power.
Earth Power, like Stunky and Marini here.
And Dazzling Gleam.
Well, Dazzling Gleam. Mainfu here.
Well, except for the Zoroa, yeah. So
but that's not exactly a very defensive mon.
Eviolite, even with Eviolite, because he revealed Eviolite.
I mean, it doesn't have any way of neutering special attackers.
No, not
physical
really.
attackers. Yes, it carries Will-O-Wisp, but not special attackers.
Yeah, you're right.
Nothing stops the Toad School from just Giga Draining it to death.
Mm-hmm. Then Torchic then lost to Marini's Hydro Pump, which actually brings me to a very interesting point here. Marini outsped the +1 Torchic at speed boost.
Do you understand what that means, Mikoi?
It's a Zoroa. Wait a minute. No, that's not right.
No.
That's not right.
You think Zoro learns Hydro Pump?
Yeah, I would think so. You know what? Zoro would just easily squirt out of its friggin' nostrils if it can. Okay?
Why would you give me this imagery?
Because it's funny. Anyway, what were you saying?
Hey, gosh.
It's Quick Claw.
Come on.
It's Quick Claw. No, it's not Quick Claw because it would have the text.
Yeah. Come on, Mikoi. There's a simple answer here.
Scarf Marini. There it is.
Yes, Miko. It was Scarf Marini.
Bro, what?
And you see, Marini's max speed is 15. That's also Torchic's max speed, so it was actually a speed tie.
Oh, wow.
Which
That's really
Marini
funny.
won.
That's that's really fun. The slower Pokemon with Scarf actually wins over the Fastmon with Speed Boost.
Well, that's because they have the same max speed. It's just
Which
Marini
is
doesn't normally
hilarious.
run it.
That's hilarious. That is really hilarious. But yeah, Zorua then burned the Tinkatink with Will-O-Wisp after it pickpocketed the Eviolite away before losing to Axel Stunky, leaving Valor with the Scarf Marini, who lost to Axel's own Marini with Sludge Bomb, winning Axel that game.
Funny how Sludge Bomb did more to the opposing Marini than Hydro Pump did to Axel's Marini.
Yeah, you'd think the friggin' Hydro Pump, the one with the higher attack, would do higher damage, but
no, that just goes to show you that Marini got no investment, no bulk, because it's a fast special attacker.
It's a very, I credit to him. What? What's
yeah,
what?
What?
But it was a very cool set. It is a very unique take on Marini, and I gotta applaud Valor for that. Unfortunately, it did not win him the game.
Yeah, I honestly think he had better odds of winning if it was a normal Marini set.
I would think so too. Yeah, I think. Well, despite the fact he had to contend with Toad School, but still. All right. Next up is OU, where
No, actually, it would have helped versus the Toad School too, because then it wouldn't just outright die to an Earth Power.
I guess, yeah.
But since it was Scarf no investment, it would have just outright died to an Earth Power.
It did, yeah. Anyway, next up is OU, where Iron Moth tried to sub up against the Slow King. However, it lost to Great Tusk's Earthquake, and Iron Valiant managed to lose to the Cinderace Pyro Ball and Slow King's Future Sight, giving Valor quite the ever so slight advantage. However, the Raging Bolt went on a rage and Terra Fairied and Calm Minded.
Yeah, I don't think Excelsior really gave a crap about Iron Moth and Iron Valiant dying early. He just wanted them to get damage off. So, because I don't think he gave a crap until because I don't think he gave a crap about them because he knew Raging Bolt would go crazy here.
The Raging Bolt did go crazy, Terra Fairying against the Meowscarada, beating it with a nasty Thunderbolt, and before chipping heavily the King Gambit before it died to its Iron Head. And then the final few turns, we saw the Terra Flying Dragonite landing even a crit Terra Blast against the King Gambit on turn 16. However, the latter lived on 1 on turn 18, leaving it to Kowtow Cleave, Cinderace, and Sucker Punch Dragonite by the end to win Axel the game.
Yep, it was a good read on Axel's part to call the switch out and just kill that
Cinderace.
What was it, Cinderace?
Yeah, Cinderace. Yeah, it was nice. It was good because you would expect, Dragonite. No, King Gambit is probably gonna Sucker Punch. I'ma just switch it out. No, just Kowtow Cleave that bitch and die.
Yeah, I feel like it was a fairly obvious play on Esvalor's part.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was still nice to watch it be caught.
It was satisfying. It was satisfying.
I think Axel probably won even if he didn't do that, though.
Well, he had a full health Great Tusk in the
The
back.
Dragonite was very low.
It was very low.
Low to a point where Rillaboom finished it off.
Grassy Glide. Grassy Glide would have finished it. Also, it's not quad resisted. It's just one resisted. Beating it with a Grassy Glide.
And once that dies, there is a full health Great Tusk in the back.
And Cinderace ain't living jack off of a Great Tusk. So Axel still would have won anyway.
Yeah.
Alright, and then finally, the last game in the series, we saw the last series in this round, we saw the Polo Ariosto beating Let's Rumble Shall We in 2. And in NU and PU, which are notably Hellray's best tiers. Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy, right?
Yeah, but not quite as crazy as some of the stuff that Polo brought.
Yeah.
This felt reminiscent of like BLT, where Polo was pulling upsets due to bringing fire teams.
He's showing here now. He's showing the way that he did in BLT, the way that he's doing it here now. Right?
But yes, more of this Polo, please.
More of this Polo, please, with a healthy serving of what the fuckery. First off, we had NU, where both set up hazards. And first of all, Vileplume used the Strength Sap against the Kilowattrel, who revealed competitive and beat.
Oh yeah, catching the Strength Sap with
Kilowattrel of all things. Kilowattrel of all things. Beating the Caparaja with Thunderbolt, then beating Gligar with Hurricane. Very nice. And then
that was a fire read, by the way.
It was a fire read. Very, very good read. And then Flamigo and Breloom then beat Flygon, while Chandelure beat Tentacruel, leaving...
I am of the opinion that Hellray should not have let that Flygon die. Because by that point in the game, let me go to this point.
Turn 20...
Let me go to this point in the game.
Turn 24-ish?
So, like, by this point in the game, so Flamigo just died, we have a Breloom left, we have Overquill left. The Flygon should outspeed the Overquill, kill it, it would kill it. There's the Swampert left, but it's only on 60%. It's probably liable to a couple of earthquakes, you know?
Vileplume would just kill it outright with Giga Drain. Vileplume comes in safely and just beats it.
That's not my point. That's not the point, Mikoi. And then the Chandelure, it's at 80. Obviously, it's not taking anything from a Flygon.
No, don't switch it.
But yeah, basically,
Flygon wins.
Polo didn't really have much in the way of proper Flygon switch-ins.
Aside from maybe Pert.
I'm of the opinion he should not have let Flygon die.
Aside from maybe Pert, but Pert already revealed like it has now have flip turn.
No, Mikoi, not even Pert, because like this thing's loaded dice Flygon with Scale Shot as well as Earthquake probably. So and like
I don't think it's gonna live.
I'm talking about switch-ins. That Swampert's on 60%. It's gonna take rocks damage. It can't heal because its leftovers are gone.
Yeah.
It's probably gonna die.
You don't think
It'll probably just die next turn if it were to switch in on a Flygon attack.
You don't think it's gonna live like a Scale Shot?
Even if it does, I'm not saying it wouldn't. I'm saying it couldn't properly switch in because it would get to it KO'd.
Yeah, it was probably expecting, your girlfriend, I don't know. What's it gonna do to a Flygon when it dies?
And the thing is, there was no reason for Hellray to let Flygon get Mach Punched like that. He had a near full health Vileplume in the back.
And a Tentacruel too. Like, he had options to resist it.
And like going from there, he can just use Leech Seed because it's not as though the Breloom is gonna stay in.
Yeah, it's not gonna stay in against a Vileplume. It would rather threaten to get Sludge Bombed. And those 3 resist Splutch
Yeah,
Bomb, so
exactly.
Hellray, it was
You can just either Giga Drain or
Giga Drain or
Leech
Leech
Seed
Seed,
from
right?
that point.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Giga
there
Drain.
was no reason to let this Flygon die. It looked like it looked like it had really good potential to clean. Or
even you bring
it's a threat. It was a threat.
Yeah, even if you bring it back in, like you could just sack it for a potential thing later. So
Now I'm not saying he could have prevented the Flygon from getting heavily damaged by the Flamigo. I acknowledge that was pretty much not preventable, looking at what Hellray had.
Badass.
You could have very well prevented it from dying.
That's a banded Flamigo, so that thing.
That's
is
a
the
Star Flamigo.
Oh, that's a Scar Flamigo. So more.
Why do you think it outsped the goddamn Flygon?
Well,
also,
okay,
if that was banded, that's a dead Flygon. It's not dead, clearly.
Okay, fine. Well, at least it makes sense, for Flamigo to be Flygon to be the only tank against the Flamigo. But
yeah, pretty much.
So
because Tentacruel probably just would have died.
No, dies outright because Flamigo friggin'
Vileplume probably died.
That 100% dies.
Infernape probably died twice.
That's 100% dying as well. It's yeah, so it makes sense. You shouldn't have let that Flygon die so easily like that because it would have been a good help later. And
yeah, it's one thing if you don't have any proper switch-ins to the Breloom, but Hellray had a proper switch-in, a very proper switch-in.
Hello, Vileplume. Yeah, so he was left with that. Funnily enough, he was left with the Terra Water Vileplume to just try to gain some purchase towards the end, but it was clear that Polo still had more Mon, still had even though Hellray
it was clear that Chandelure was just gonna clean.
Yeah, Chandelure was just gonna clean, even though it was in 57, but it was still Polo's position to just win at this point because Shadow Ball was doing a lot. And yeah, Hellray lost by that point.
Yeah, like if you see how much Shadow Ball did, it was just gonna die to Shadow Ball, and then what's the Infernape gonna do? Knock off the Chandelure, and then what's it gonna do to literally anything else here?
The bird just cleans it. The thing.
Like the Breloom doesn't die to knock off the Swampert. Might. The Overquill probably doesn't.
No. Of course not. It's a dark type.
It's low, though, and would have came in on rocks, but it has Intimidate, so probably still lived.
Never need a crit, but okay. Alright, so that was unfortunate. PU was next, and
we're not gonna call it unfortunate, though, because this was done by Polo playing well, and Hellray playing a little.
Yeah.
This was a clean game. There was nothing really unfortunate about it.
Yeah, so that was, again, unfortunate that Hellray had to eat a loss. That's what I meant.
You mean his second loss? He's out.
Well, here's the second loss right now because it's next up is PU.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess you meant that, right?
Yeah, so PU was next, and first of all,
now this was the actual unfortunate game.
Yeah, not only that, but Polo revealed some tech that was very, very interesting. A trick. Oh wait, was it? Yeah, a trick sticky barb Golurk, gaining the lefties and earthquaking the Mudstale a lot to beat it. Before losing.
Now, Mikoi.
Go
Did
on.
you perhaps notice that the Golurk, despite having a sticky barb, did not take damage from it?
Klutz.
There you go.
Klutz trick. Go lurk. Wow.
Clutch Trick Sticky Barb. This is heat.
That is clever. That is 100% very clever.
That is incredibly clever. Yeah, this is like the PU version of
Magic Guard.
Magic Guard Trick
Sticky Barb Clefable, yeah. It's basically that, but yeah, bring Klutz, Klutz Trick Go Lurk, that's heat. That's 100% heat. But lost to the Tatsugiri Surf, so we couldn't really do anything about that. But Polo's Belly Bolt then critted Hellraise with Muddy Water on turn 26, which was very unfortunate. And then Florges' Terra Grounded to tank Arcanine's Flare Blitz and beat it with Terra Blast before the end. And the end game, the really, really unfortunate end game, where we saw Zoroark. That's a Zoroark. I'm not seeing things, am I? That's a Zoroark, right?
Yeah, the Florges on the other side? Yeah, that's a Zoroark.
I'm not seeing that Florges carries Dark Balls, unless it does, which would be really funny.
It doesn't.
Good.
And it would be really stupid if it Terra Darked to beat another Florges.
To beat another Florges. Who already Terra Grounded, but he's still at Moonblast. But anyway, turn 36, we saw the Dark Pulse flinching the Florges, and ultimately that cost Hellray the game, as boom. Killing it afterwards, Polo wins.
I saw Polo argue that, to be fair, that Dark Pulse was a low roll because that was Terra Dark Black Glasses Dark Pulse.
Are you serious? You brought Black Glasses Zoroark?
Well, yeah, it wasn't choiced and it wasn't boot, so what else could it have been?
Why black glasses? I guess powering up your dark pulses.
To boost dark type moves? Why
I guess.
Not?
I mean, okay, trying to boost up dark pulses. You have Terra to do that anyway.
Yeah, but now it's even more boosted. What's the issue here?
I mean, again, this just seems kind of redundant. I guess more power, but redundant.
Redundant in boosts, meaning good.
Okay, fine, but yeah. Anyway, go on with your argument about the argument that Polo brought up.
Yeah, thing is, no, that wasn't a low roll.
Was it really not?
In fact, that was a roll on the higher side, I think.
Oh, really? So not only did
because get this, Hellray's Florges was max HP, max special defense with a calm nature.
That's really bulky, dude.
Yeah, this thing could not be more specially bulky if it tried. It was max.
And then the fact that it got 20% off of that. 20% Dark Pulse. Not only did he flinch, but he also got one of the higher rolls.
Or maybe it was an average roll. I forget the exact thing regarding it. I did the calc. Let's see.
Which is?
252 special attack Black Glasses Terra Dark Zoroark Dark Pulse versus +1 252 HP 252 plus special defense Terra Ground Florges. It did around 19.4 to 23.3.
Okay,
so somewhat maybe not a roll on the higher side, more like an average-ish roll, but it was only a 6% chance to kill.
Wow. All right.
It was a lower chance to kill than it was to flinch.
And he still got the lower end. Yikes, poor Hellray.
What? No, he didn't.
Oh, the higher end, I guess. But he still got, it was still really unfortunate on his side,
Yeah, in fact, Hellray was of the opinion that Polo potentially choked by going into Zoroark to finish it off.
Yeah, that would probably make a lot more sense,
Because Hellray was... I imagine what Hellray was thinking is that it would be smarter if Polo went into his own... Florges and just spammed Psychic Noise.
Yeah, that would have been a much, much more safer way, I guess, to kill the Florges.
Because then it can't heal with its lefties. It can't heal with. It was lefties, right? Yeah,
It
it's
was
lefties.
lefties.
It can't heal with its lefties. It can't heal with synthesis.
Yeah.
And then Florges plus Zoroark would just clean up Tatsugiri and it'd be a win.
Yeah, it still would have been a
Since
win.
Hellray didn't have any speed investment in his own Florges, if uh, if Polo had any in his, then he probably outsped.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, what a sad way for Hellray to go out. I mean, he's after Balor and Fragments went out, he was one of the favorites to potentially win, but yeah, what a sad way to go out.
Okay, but I will say this. Given that Hellray had already lost Enyu, and if you look at
Ooh.
Polo with that shiny gold LC ladder medal, and
Oh,
if
he
you
would have.
look at the last tier that needed to be played,
Yeah, he's in a losing position. He was in a losing position after losing NU. It was really bad.
yeah, like odds are, Hellray probably lost LC.
Probably. So it would have been a 3-game lose instead of a 2-game lose.
I'm not saying it's impossible for Hellray to win by that point, but like, it would have been a bit of an uphill battle, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was just the way things played out, I guess. So who won predicts?
Well, you and I tied.
Yay!
We got the first 3 right, even though they had already happened, but that's who we thought would win anyway. And we got Hellray wrong.
Yes, 3 out of 4. 75%. Yeah, and pick.
Well, the pick got 2 out of 4.
Take that pick for last round.
Yes, good.
Vindication. All right. Hopefully we'll do better. Like we can't we can't say nah I'd win. We should say nah I dominate. All right, fine. Let's go to round 6, where instead of best of 3, it is now best of 5.
Woohoo!
So you have.
We're gonna be here for an hour watching these sets.
Great. And I'm watching
No,
these.
more than an hour, actually.
Yeah, and I watched these games twice for the review, so it's gonna be a long one.
Oh, God.
It's gonna be a long one to sit through, huh? Alright. So let's move on now to our Masters 8, our Elite 8, our not Baker's Dozen. It is more of a 2/3 of a 2/3 of a dozen. I don't know.
Well, yeah, that is 8 is 2/3 of 12. So.
Yeah, I was right. My math is correct. Take that, woman. All right, next first off, we have.
Although if it's a baker's dozen you're referring to, then no.
Then that would be wrong. I was just the baker's dozen gag from Wallace and Gromit. It still lingers in my mind. Anyway, next up we have the winners bracket. The 4 top players battling it out for whoever will reach winners finals. First off, we have the hype matchup. The hype matchup that everyone should probably be more aware of, and hopefully everyone should get really excited because this might decide who actually wins TLT. That's just my personal prediction, okay? Because these are my top 2 going in. It's Tempo versus Wesh.
I feel the same. I think you should be quiet because you will curse them.
That's our job, woman. Shut up.
No, I don't want to do that. I don't want to curse them.
That's our job, woman.
Quiet on these things.
That's our job, woman. All right. Wesh versus Tempo. They're going to be playing Saturday at -4 at noon. And the tiers that they're going to be playing are Ubers, OU, RU, NU, and LC.
I think Wesh has this.
Yeah. I think Wesh takes Ubers. I think Wesh takes OU, and
I think Wesh takes RU. I think Wesh takes LC.
he wins 4 out of 5. I don't know. Maybe Tempo could pull off some punches in RU and NU, but yeah, I think Wesh tier wise, I think Wesh is favored, and I think skill wise also Wesh is favored. So we're gonna pick Pap. We're gonna pick Pap on this one.
Yeah, as am I. Wesh Papillon.
You see, everyone and their let's see if I'm right in saying everyone and their mother is picking Wesh. I guess it's only one, but yeah, I think Wesh wins. Yeah, Wesh wins. All right, next up we have Rafna versus Brain Damage Haver. I was watching the TLT tier list video the other day, and we said in that video that you guys need to watch out for Rafna during that. Look at this man. Look at this man now. Winner's bracket and top 8.
Yep, that's a pretty scary position.
He's a dangerous player, and he's going up against a very, very competent Brain Damage Haver. He has been pulling off quite the run. I will give him credit. And he still...
I have a hard time giving him credit.
Wow. Is this bias, or is this just... You see him really as mid? As do I.
I don't know. I mean, have you been impressed by his wins?
He's okay. He's decent, but like...
Some of them, yeah. Some of them, not so much.
He's mid. Again, he's mid. He's perfectly in that mid category. They're gonna be playing. They haven't given a time yet, but they are gonna be playing Monotype. Finally, we're going to see a mono game.
Holy crap! Feels like it's been weeks.
It's been weeks since
Actually,
we've seen
it probably has.
It has been weeks since we have seen a Monotype game. We're gonna be playing Monotype doubles OU, UU, and PU. So
wait, what was the other tiers?
OU, UU, PU.
Okay, what's the other two?
Monotype and doubles.
And doubles?
Yes, monotype.
Right.
Alright, so Rafna takes mono, 100%. I think Brain takes doubles. That's
difficult, actually, because Rafna isn't terrible at doubles.
Really?
Like, remember he beat Fragments?
Oh, he did. He did. Well,
not cleanly. In the slightest,
well, okay, not cleanly. Yes, you're right. It's not clean, but he has a fighting chance. But I still think Brain has this. I mean, he did the.
Yeah, probably.
But I think Rafna takes.
Did Brain lock doubles?
I think Brain might have locked doubles. PU, I think Rafna takes it. OU and UU is gonna be hard. Because I don't know as much of a higher tier skill-wise for Rafna. Brain, I have completely no idea.
Rafna's good at OU.
Really?
Let me be the first to tell you that.
Really? Do you have some proof?
I'm of the opinion that OU is one of my stronger tiers. He clobbered me alive in that tier.
Okay, so during
quals.
So you have 100% confidence in Rafna winning in OU.
Rafna's scary in OU, yeah.
Okay, but does he fare against the better OU players? Against Brain, he will win. I think against Brain, he will win. So yes, can't you tell? We're gonna obviously pick Rafna. I'm picking Rafna because I generally think he's amazing, and I'm happy of the run that he's having. And yeah, he's gonna be he's gonna be that threat. He's gonna be a threat.
And of course, I'm also picking Rafna because I feel like Brain's wins have been
Mediocre.
Not great.
Mediocre.
Yeah, I mean, hell, he beat Axel last round to a burn. No, that wasn't last round. That was 2 rounds ago.
2 rounds ago. But yeah, who did pick say?
The pick says brain.
So it has damage, brain damage.
It doesn't have a brain, Mikoi.
It does. It's an AI.
That's exactly why it doesn't have a brain.
Robots can have brains too, you know.
No, that's not what a brain is. That's called artificial intelligence.
Artificial intelligence is winning the day. All right. Next up, the losers bracket. We have Batty versus Terracotta. Actually, this one should be close.
Oh yeah, this I think is probably the closest game this week.
Even more than Tempo versus Pat. I guess you're probably right. It's probably closer than Pat versus Tempo.
I think Wesh is solidly better.
All right.
This is a very 50-50 one though.
All right. So they're gonna be playing the earliest. Well, assuming Ralph9 Brain doesn't play this early. They're going to be playing the earliest Wednesday, 6:30. Not specified if AM or PM. +1, but they're going to be playing OU, Ubers, UU, PU, LC. So, Terra's GOAT at Ubers. Terra's good at PU. Terra's good at LC.
He's alright at LC.
Batty, good at OU. Great at OU, I mean. Great at OU. He could...
Yeah, well, Terra's fairly good at that, too. I think he could realistically beat Batty there.
Well, okay, so don't underestimate Terra in OU, but Batty should be favored in OU. UU, I think, is going to be the decider. I think UU is going to be that decider. I think this will be...
you know what? That's a fair decision. Although I think LC is also more even than you think.
All right, so we got 2 tiers that
I could realistically see Batty beating Terra in LC. I don't think Terra's as good in LC as you give him credit for. He doesn't have a high opinion of himself in LC.
Well, I have a pretty high opinion of him. I
played him in LC and won, so.
Okay, well, I'll have confidence in him here, but yeah, this one's more even. This one's a lot of... I fully expect this to be a 5-game series. With the way that Terra's been playing his game.
Me too.
With
4 games at least.
I mean, with the way Terra's been playing his games, I fully expect this to be a 5-game series. Unless it ends really horribly.
Now, if we were talking about the Terra that's been playing the last 2 rounds, then I hear myself echoing.
Anyway, you were saying.
As I was saying.
Mm-hmm.
What was I saying?
You were saying if it was the Terra from the previous 2 rounds.
If it was the Terra that was playing from the previous 2 rounds, then I think Batty would probably win. But this is Terra saying that he is mentally at his... I hear myself echoing again. That he will mentally be at his best.
That's good. I would like to see a much more focused Terra. The Terra we got from the last 2 series, I don't think it was Terra at his finest.
Yeah, me neither, especially last week.
So, I think, as much as I want to see Terra be more focused, and absolutely, I want him to be at 100%, I am gonna predict an upset. I still think Batty wins.
Oh my!
Yeah, I still think Batty wins, even though I give fully credit. Like, Terra, if he can play to his full potential, absolutely gonna go for him. And it's perfectly understandable why a lot of people would go for him. But Batty, I would say, again, one of the more underrated players that we have. and he's doing pretty good for himself, especially going through this losers bracket, having lost having lost to Brain in round 2, and then still tearing up through this losers bracket. I still think Batty's gonna take this.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, but
I think he's on a roll.
Personally, I'm going Terra.
All right, you're much more confident now.
Well, you know, I've been talking to him. He sounds like he's doing much better mentally.
That's fair.
So
That's
it sounds like he'll be playing much better.
I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see Terra at his finest.
One of those tiers is Ubers. We all know that's a specialty. He's really good at PU as well.
Yes, he is.
I've seen him do... I know he can play quite well in OU.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, hell,
LC,
I got several of my OU building options from him, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And the other tiers.
LC and UU are gonna be deciders, but yeah. I still think Batty. I think Batty's on an absolute roll right now. I think his momentum is really on point, and I think he's gonna be his focus, because if Terra is mentally focused right now, he's gonna have to bring all that in, bring his A game against a very strong player in Batty. So. And fine.
I think Terra's a bit stronger overall, but I understand.
Alright, now we finally come to Excelsior versus Polo Ariosto. I can't pronounce his Showdown username very well.
You don't need to, because, like, who's calling him that?
I would. They're gonna be playing Friday, 2 p.m. -6, and their tiers that they're gonna be doing are as follows: OU, DOU or doubles, LC, UU, and PU.
Oh.
Quite the interesting tier choices. I know Polo would lock LC. What would have Axel picked?
I mean, LC is also a tier Axel's good at.
I know.
Remember?
I know. So LC is gonna be.
Maybe Axel picked doubles though.
That's a interesting friggin' tier choice. I wonder why.
He told me that he's been liking doubles lately. He's been playing it quite a bit lately.
That's interesting. I would like to see that come to fruition. But yeah, I think LC is going to be the decider. I think these are two very solid LC players. I think that tier is going to be the decider.
Honestly, in terms of tiers, it looks to favor Axel.
You think? Oh, yeah, you could be right. I mean, doubles and UU, I think Axel's better. I don't particularly know how good both of these guys are at OU. So
Polo might be better in OU. I'm not actually sure.
I'm not certain. I'm not certain
Axel's
about that.
Fairly decent at it too. I don't know who's better there.
PU as well. I'm a little undecided. So, yeah, this is going to be one of the more undecided. This is the most undecided matchup.
Yeah, in my opinion, this is the... Well, actually, I guess the previous game is probably closer, but this is really close as well. This is almost as close.
For a different reason, yeah. This is close for a different reason, because we got two players who... because the other series, we said that it's going to be depending on tier. This one, I think, depending on... The previous one depends on the tiers. This one, the Axel versus Polo, this one's going to be dependent on players' performance.
To be honest,
Who are you going to pick out of these two?
Who are you going to pick? I think I know, but I want to hear what you have to say first.
Again, this is hard. Why are you lumping this on me? This is also really hard, okay? Because I don't know, I've been going back and forth after seeing this for the first time when the thread got posted, or I guess the challenge updated. When I saw this matchup, I'm like, well, Axel could win, but Polo could take a couple games off of him. And then when I saw the tiers being locked, I'm like, oh, that's very undecided. It's very undecided. I think for experience, I would say Axel, but Polo could easily take games off of Axel if he's not careful.
Thing is, though, with how Polo played last week,
yeah, I think he's gonna be more focused. I think he's gonna be more focused after what he played last week, especially against.
Yeah, Polo. I think he's aware he's in the top 8 now. This is for real.
Yeah, this is for real. This is just like him for real. And I'm gonna still pick Excelsior, just because experience.
What? Wait, really?
Yeah, I'm gonna pick Excel. Also because, I mean, you said before that the tiers may favor him a little bit, but I just maybe okay. Who looked more impressive? The last time we saw them, I think Excelsior still looked more impressive than Polo.
Than Polo did versus Hellray?
Yeah. Even then, I would still pick Excelsior.
Huh.
So, kind of a controversial pick, I know. But again, do you blame me? This one is just very undecided. Okay.
No, I don't blame you. I mean, I'm rooting for Excelsior myself.
But who you picking?
Polo.
Really? Oh, the ball's in your court, woman. You are now the betting woman.
Well, after last week, between the team choice last week and how they were played,
I guess he was really focused that week.
Like, if Polo keeps that up, if Polo is the same Polo that played last week, I think Axel's probably losing.
That's very interesting. Again, this is just very different perspectives on this game in particular. So,
although I am excited for this match.
Yes.
Because I wouldn't be surprised if both sides brought heat.
I wouldn't be surprised either. I want them. I demand them to bring heat. Like, come on.
I've seen Axel bring heat before.
I have seen Axel bring heat before as well. We've seen it before in past BLTs. So, I'm very curious to see what he will bring.
I saw it in TLT quals. I had to face it.
So,
I'll let you know what I'm referring to later, because obviously I don't want to spoil the surprise in case he ends up bringing it.
Yeah, don't. But I'm very curious to see how these two will go. I'm also very interested in seeing this matchup. I might want to react to it live, but again, that just depends on our availability. But yeah, this one's going to be fun.
Very fun.
All these games are going to be very fun to see. We're in the end game now, folks. These games are going to get long. These reviews are going to get long, but it's just who is the best player of them all in 2024. At least to our community. All right. Anyway, that's the end of again, that is the end of the TLT podcast, at least for this week. Thank you all so much for watching. Please like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe. Click that notification bell so you wouldn't miss a video once it comes out. And I'll see you next time when we talk about the next round, which is, round 6?
No, we're on round 6 right now.
Round 6 recap and round 7 predictions. You didn't let me finish.
Oh, sorry.
So it's semifinals. If we're going by challenge road, it would be semifinals or winners finals versus losers round 6. Yeah, fun.
I I don't know. Is that right? Were you looking at the challenge for that?
I was looking at challenge. Losers round 5. What is it? Oh, well, next round would be losers round 6.
Yeah.
Yay!
And yes, this is winner semifinals.
Yeah, winners. Yeah, whoever wins goes on to be in winners finals. Woo! Yep. Woo! All right, thank you all for watching. That's next week. But we have to end this week because this video is getting too long. This has been McCoy signing out.
Goodbye.
And happy Thanksgiving.